Winning High School Player of the Year is a great achievement, but winning it as a 10th grader is insane, and this guy did just that. Winning Player of the Year is something that we shouldn't take lightly because only one player each year can win this honor. You have to be a very special and talented player to do this. And this player is very special, but not only that, he made history. Emoni Bates, I'm sure you all have heard about this guy, but if you haven't, don't worry, he's going to be making noise for a lot of years to come. Emoni Bates is just 16 years old and he won Player of the Year as a sophomore, just let that sink in. And no, we're not talking about Sophomore Player of the Year, the overall Player of the Year, so he beat out juniors and seniors. To put that in perspective, LeBron James didn't even do this. He didn't win Player of the Year until he was a junior. So this is why a lot of people are saying he's the next great star and even comparing him to LeBron James. And to put it into even more perspective, Kobe Bryant only won it as a senior. But hold on, we gotta pump the brakes. How did this kid get to where he is today, and who is he? And to get into his story, we gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. Emoni Bates was born on January 28th in 2004. He was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and ever since he started playing, he was always regarded as a top prospect. Even when he was in middle school, people were saying he was going to be the next big thing, and that certainly looks like the case. He actually first started playing basketball when he was just 3 years old. But not only that, when he would go to bed at night, he would sleep with a miniature basketball under his arm and always was dribbling in his house. And all throughout his childhood, his father was basically training him every day. So when he arrived in middle school basketball, he was already way ahead of his competition. And he completely dominated, but a lot of people wanted to see what he was going to do at the high school level. For his freshman season, he wound up enrolling at Lincoln High School in Michigan. He actually wound up deciding to go there because the head coach at the time was actually teammates and friends with his father. And on November 26th in 2018, he made his first start and freshman debut and scored 32 points as a freshman on varsity. That was his first game on varsity as a freshman and he scored over 30 points. That's incredible. Not only that, he also pitched in 15 rebounds, so hey, what a start. And it wasn't just a one-hit wonder, he had a remarkable year. He wound up leading his team to a 23-4 overall record. And oh yeah, we can't forget to mention he averaged 28.5 points per game and right at 10 rebounds each and every night. I know I'm stressing this a lot, but he was a freshman. That's insane. With just being a freshman, he was named the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year and the Max Preps National Freshman of the Year. And this is when the hype started to build and everyone was like, yo, this kid's got next. There was an article even written about him that called him the best freshman to ever play in Michigan. And a recruiter from the 24/7 Sports recruiting website even said he was possibly the best high school prospect since LeBron James. And that is very high praise and a lot of pressure to put on such a young kid. So going into his sophomore season, he had to put on a show to meet those expectations. And let's just say he did not disappoint. Before the season even started, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Think about it, he was just a sophomore. He was definitely feeling the pressure to succeed. However, he did not fold under this pressure. In his season debut, he scored 24 points, so it looked like it was going to be another great year. And all throughout the year, he completely dominated his competition. He even had a game during the year where he dropped 63 points and 21 rebounds. That's not too bad for a sophomore, I guess. If you weren't impressed with that, listen to this. Only 3 days later, he dropped 40 points and 12 rebounds. So it's not like this guy's a one-hit wonder. He was doing this each and every night. And if you're thinking, oh, he just had 2 good games. Well, on March 5th, he had 48 points and 13 rebounds. This kid's a beast, man. And of course, the previous year, which was his sophomore year, wound up being cut short due to the coronavirus. And this was probably the best situation for all of his opponents because it seemed like he was getting better throughout the year, so I would not want to play this guy. So for his sophomore year when the season officially ended, these were his averages. His season average for points was 32.3 per game. 32.3 points per game, man, that is literally getting buckets. We also can't forget to mention he also pitched in 9 rebounds per game and 3 assists. He also was doing this at a very efficient rate. He shot right at 50% from the field and 37% behind the 3-point line. If you're in high school and you're shooting over 35% from deep, that's really good. And when his sophomore year was over, he wound up being named the Gatorade National Player of the Year. The previous year, he was the Michigan Player of the Year as a freshman. But this time, he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. That's crazy. This was the first time in history that a sophomore won the award. But we don't stop there. He was also the Max Preps National Sophomore of the Year. And we could keep going on. He basically won all the awards for this season. That's enough about his stats. Obviously, you can put up good stats and just fold when you get to college or NBA, because we see that a lot with high school players. However, I'm almost 99.9% sure this guy is probably the best NBA prospect we've seen coming out of high school in a while. So I've told you guys the stats, let's dive into his actual game. Well, first things first, he's 6'9" and 200 pounds. And he's just a sophomore, so he's probably going to grow some more. And he's not a post player, which is very scary because he can handle the ball like a guard. And to make things even scarier, when players are tall, they normally don't have a great vertical leap. However, this guy does. And if being tall, having a great vertical leap, and even better handles wasn't enough for you, his jump shot is literally like butter. I'm not just saying this, I literally mean it. His jump shot literally reminds me of Kevin Durant's. When I was watching the clips on this guy and doing my research, that's literally the perfect comparison. They're both tall guys who have the skill set of a point guard. But not only that, they literally shoot like a shooting guard. And this is why he literally won Player of the Year as a sophomore, because he can do everything. I really do hate to compare high school players to NBA players, and I don't do it a lot on this channel, but I'm telling you, this guy's a carbon copy of Kevin Durant. I really don't know how you could disagree. Just watch his game. He plays like KD. So it's obvious, and it probably goes without being said, but I'm going to state it anyways because I know some of y'all are curious. Yes, he's a 5-star recruit and the #1 overall player in his class, which is 2022. And currently right now, he hasn't really narrowed down or said anything about college yet, but one interesting thing did happen. Of course, every school wants this guy, but just recently they opened up recruiting for colleges to contact players, and at 12 a.m., Michigan State contacted him first when they opened the date. But they didn't just contact him first, they were actually the only people to contact him that night. And this don't sound like a big deal, but his father actually said if he had to go to college right now, he would definitely be leaning towards Michigan State because quite frankly, they're the only people that showed interest right away. So hey, maybe that's something key to pick up on. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting to add for y'all. Just keep an eye on it. With that being said, let's get back into our story because we are far from done. Now, of course, everyone's calling him the next big star, the next phenom, and etc, in almost every synonym. And we hear that a lot with our high school stars. However, I don't think he's the next great high school star. I actually think he's the next great one, like the chosen one. And yes, before you guys kill me in the comments, I do understand the magnitude of what I just said. But listen to what this ESPN analyst said about him. He is the newest generational talent in the high school game. He owns a slender frame with terrific length thanks to a 7'1" wingspan. His elite ball skills have profound influence and impact on the game. His ability as a shooter, including his capacity to make contested shots, make him unique. His gifts off the bounce, his court vision, and his fast developing basketball IQ stand out as well. A key separating trait at this early age is his alpha dog mentality. When his time comes for the NBA draft, we project him as the #1 pick. And you guys probably expect ESPN recruiters to say that about this kid, but when he said he had that alpha dog mentality, that really stuck out to me. That is the first time I've seen an ESPN analyst refer to a high school kid as an alpha dog. Now I know he didn't actually call him the alpha dog, he was just saying he has that mentality, but that's rare. And one thing to note about Emoni Bates is that nobody's talking about him going to college. They're already projecting when he's going to get drafted. As you guys know, under the current rules the NBA has right now, he won't be available to go to the draft right away out of high school. But according to Adam Silver and a lot of people on the NBA board, they're trying to get rid of that rule very quickly. So when he gets out of high school in 2022, he can be drafted right away. And of course, he's the #1 in his class by far. But he's actually considered the best high school prospect regardless of the class. I know I've said it a lot, but keep in mind he's just a sophomore. I have to remind you guys this. And even though he is a sophomore, he's still getting recognition from NBA players. Jason Tatum even tweeted out this: "Congrats on winning the 2019-2020 National Boys Player of the Year Award. That's big time. Welcome to the fam." No player in the history of high school basketball has won the Gatorade Player of the Year 3 straight years. There's only been 3 players to win that award 2 times, and those 3 are LeBron James, Greg Oden, and Brandon Knight. But with Emoni Bates winning it as a sophomore, it's almost certain that he's going to win it these next 2 years unless something crazy happens like an injury or something else. Just imagine if he wins Gatorade Player of the Year 3 straight years. That's going to be insane. With all that being said though, let's dive back into his game just a little bit. I'm not going to say too much about his game because it really speaks for itself. However, one thing I absolutely love about this kid is that he already has that killer mentality. Anytime he does a dunk, makes a 3-point shot, or even lays it up on an opponent, he kind of bows up and flexes at him, and I love that. I've said it before in recent videos and I'm going to say it again. When you're on that court, you gotta be confident. If you don't think you're the best player on the court, then nobody will and you're not going to get respect. And I really like how he bows up to his opponents. It's not like he's going to fight them, he's just showing them who the alpha male is. And I really like that more than a player actually trash talking because he's just letting his game speak for itself. Emoni Bates is arguably one of the best high school prospects we've seen in a long time. And the scary thing is, he still has 2 years left of high school basketball. If I went to go see this kid play and you didn't tell me his age, I would think he's probably a senior at least. He's already won Player of the Year as just a sophomore, so there's not really too much more things he can do at the high school level. He just really needs to work on his overall game even more and get better and get ready for the next step in his career. Whether that's college or the NBA, I definitely think it's safe to say he's going to be successful wherever he goes. And wherever and whatever he decides to do, I'm wishing him and his family the best of luck. And I'm really interested in this guy and his overall game, so I'm definitely going to keep up with him and keep y'all updated too. Emoni Bates is regarded as the next chosen one, and he's even won Player of the Year as a sophomore. So can he keep up this great work, or is he going to fold under the pressure and the hype? But hey man, with all this being said, that's about going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to the channel, what are you doing? We finna hit 30K. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.